Yeah, yeah. I think since the tables are here, we'll do both.
This special workshop for sports massage therapists and fitness students to give you another addition to your skill set as you would be preparing yourself to work with clients with various needs. This workshop will also remind you that your treatment is not just for biological being or giving someone as a biological being, but also someone with from the electromagnetic aspect of your health. I don't want to delve too much in it because the presenter certainly will be giving you a thorough understanding of what it is, and I'm sure it will open your mind to new knowledge, certainly, that will help you in your area of specialization. So today, before we start, we want to take time out and welcome Caroline. She is a massage therapist and also a spa developer. So for those persons who might have the business mind or the business aspect of this, you have the opportunity to get the necessary consultation for that success, or you can also join her. You also have Tara. She is also a massage therapist, and we also have Mr. Byron Blake, former ambassador to the UN, and the person who really is behind why all of this is happening here. Thank you very much, sir. And last but by no means least, our presenter, because I have so much to say about her, I saved the best for last, certainly. So today's workshop is about biofield tuning. And the presenter, I'm going to share her middle name. Simple. D-A-Y. And there's something special about her. Her last name, someone has some resonance with music. It's McKusick. And her first name is Eileen. So it's Eileen McKusick. So let me just give you a little bit of information about her. She's a pioneer researcher. She wears many hats. A writer, an inventor, a practitioner, an educator, and certainly a speaker in the field of therapeutic sound, the human biofield, and electric health. She has a master's in the integrative education and has been studying the effects of sound on the human body and its electromagnetic system since 1996. She's the organizer of the therapy method Biofield Tuning with over 2,000 students who she has trained worldwide, and both Tara and Caroline are two of her students that she has trained. She's also the founder of the Biofield Tuning Institute. As an inventor, she has created a line of weighted tuning forks that most of you will get a chance to interact with today, and tune fork accessories based on her own clinical research. Eileen's work leads people from the chemical, mechanical perspective of life, health, and the universe to an electrosonic one. So, without no further ado, I want you to all welcome Mrs. McKusick.
Thanks, Mr. Gale. Hi, everybody. Welcome, and thanks for coming, and thanks for your curiosity about what I'm going to share today. As he mentioned, I've been using tuning forks for the last 26 years. And when you hear tuning forks, you might not really grasp what they have the potential to do. So I'm imagining that most of you are in the sports massage program. Is that correct? What kind of programs are y'all in? All right, but so basically you're all interested in helping people, right? To helping athletes, helping people perform better, recover from injury, maybe be a more focused athlete, right? So when you're dealing with massage or most of the things that we've learned about health, you've been taught that the body is mechanical, that the body is chemical. What I discovered somewhat accidentally through my own clinical practice is that the body also has an electrical system. And this electrical system is something that we're really not taught about, most of us. Who kind of gets, who already knew that the body had an electrical system? Right, see, I didn't know. I mean, I came across it in hands-on experience and wondered what it was that I was working with. And so in the handout you have is a model, a map of my research. And what I discovered working with thousands of clients across decades is that we're told that our mind is inside our head, right? Most of us think like your mind is inside your head. In this model, your body is actually inside your mind. And your mind is actually kind of like a bubble, an electric bubble. So most people know that your heart is electric, right? Your heartbeat is electric, or that your brain waves are electric. Have you ever been hanging out with a friend and you're kind of reading each other's thoughts? Because your brain is making electrical activity, and that activity is actually going through your skull, right? When you get an EEG, they are measuring the electrical activity inside your head. And that doesn't stop at your head, it expands out. So your brain is electric. Your bones are actually crystalline structures that carry charge. When you compress your bones, it makes electricity. Your blood carries a charge. Your fascia, who's been learning about fascia? We've been learning about fascia. Fascia is a very important part of your body that's key to athletic performance. If your fascia is knotted, if your fascia is not connected through your whole body, you don't have a sense of inner unity. Any place where people have tension, you're not just dealing with muscular tension, but the network of connective tissue that connects everything. And electricity flows through that. So a basic rule of science is that anything that has an electric current flowing through it has a magnetic field around it. Okay, did everybody get that? Anything that has electric current running through it has a magnetic field around it. All right? This electrical system is what I would call your mind. It's where your thoughts happen. It's where your feelings happen. Right? Think about anything that you're thinking or feeling. When you feel an uncomfortable emotion, that's a waveform traveling through your body. Right? You think about when you feel anxious. You've got a waveform running through your body that's going like if you're afraid. So this electrical system is rhythmic. It's rhythmic and it's tonal. And if people have tension in their bodies or in their minds, it's going to show up in their bodies. And the tune forks are an interesting way to get people to relax. And I really come to the conclusion that basically every ailment that we suffer from, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical, is tension-based. Does everybody get that? Think about anything that, you got a headache. What is that? It's tension in your head. You've got a sore muscle. It's tension. You've got an issue with a loved one, and you're getting upset about it. What's going on? You're getting tense. So the solution to get people into a flow state that athletes want to get into, the solution to get people to recover from injuries or to release knots or tension that might give rise to patterns of injury is to get them to relax. Now, massage will get you to relax a little bit, but if the tension is in your mind, if it's coming from your thoughts, if it's coming from your feelings, a massage is only going to go so far. So this method that I'm going to share with you today, and I'm going to get all of you who are interested to actually hold the forks on each other, you'll get to have the experience of how this method gets people to relax, and sometimes really relax deeply. Now, I've been doing this for 26 years, and like we said earlier, we've trained thousands of students all around the world. And people have found that this is a way to support their clients, the people that they work with, to optimize their potential. To really, truly, we all know that we have potential as human beings. And everyone that I've ever worked with has acknowledged that they know that they have gifts, that they know that they have talents, and that they know that they have strengths. But not everybody can get there. And the reason why not everyone can get to their potential is tension. And it's really that simple. So the more we can help everybody to relax, to relieve stress, right? I think that pretty much everybody has stress, and we're always looking for ways to relieve stress and to relax. So, where our bodies are made of sound, our electrical system is sonic, and it is flowing in rhythms and pulses. And so if people have anxiety, let's say pre-game anxiety, you can actually, with these tuning forks, find where in their electrical system it is, very specifically, and use the sound there to get the body to relax. So what you'll find in your little handouts is a map of physiology, like what I've discovered. Who here is in pain or difficulty? Who's got something going on at the moment? What you got going on? Say one more time. Poor circulation and joint pain. Tension. Absolutely tension related. So joint pain is a consequence of tension in the shoulders. Poor circulation is a consequence of systemic tension that's stopping blood from flowing. Yeah, exactly. Who else has got something going on? Any pain anywhere? Anybody recovering from an injury? Yes. What you got? Oh, dislocated thumb. Yeah, I just did that too. I was supposed to be here in July, but I crashed my motorcycle. I was supposed to teach this class July 7th, and I crashed my Ninja motorcycle into the pavement going 50 miles an hour. And I dislocated my right thumb as well. What I discovered with that map is that when people, for example, like let's say somebody has pain in their right hip. A lot of people have right hip sciatica or pain in their right hip. What I've found is that every area of the body tends to have a habit of mind that goes with it. Remember, in this model, the body is inside the mind. So if the mind goes out of balance, the body follows. The imbalance that we find in the right hip is a tendency to overthink, to overdo, to be busy, what I call busy mind, busy body, especially going out into the future or thinking about your to-do list. So when you do that, you take yourself out of this present moment and you shift the way that electricity is flowing through your electrical system, it goes over to the right. And so now your mind has gone out of balance. The magnetic field around your body has gone out of balance. And that magnetic field is going to draw more electricity over to this hip. Pain is too much current running through the wires. Does that make sense? So if you're really always thinking about what you have to do, you're putting yourself out of balance, you're putting your body out of balance. This is an approach that can actually help to put the mind back into balance. By using the tuning forks to manipulate. So a tuning fork, a vibrating tuning fork becomes like a magnet. And if you've ever used a magnet to move iron filings, right? So a magnet moves stuff around. And so a vibrating tuning fork becomes like a magnet that we can actually move the magnetic field of the body. It's kind of like chiropractic in that we're doing adjustments to bring the body back into alignment. To bring the body back into alignment. And actually to start to train people's minds to stay centered. And that's the essence of a good athlete. That they're present, they're centered, they're here in this moment. They're not thinking about their girlfriend or their boyfriend. They're not thinking about all the things they have to do after a match. They're just present, here, centered in this moment. And that's what this work does. It gets people's energy centered, present, and calm, and relaxed. And this is a huge gift to be able to give to people. Because a lot of people are stressed, they're frustrated, they've got ancestral trauma as well that is affecting them, family trauma that is making them tense and out of balance. And this is a very simple way to energetically calm people into center and into this moment. Question? So the question is this related to chakras? A chakra is a word to describe the fact that our electrical system has centers in it. In fact, in your spine, you have nerve plexuses where there's a lot of information. So here at the sternum, you have a nerve plexus, you have one here, and these are what we call chakras, but sometimes that's a term that people hear and they think, oh, that's New Age or whatever. So yes, in a way it's related because of these nerve plexuses are different zones. So you could say yes, it is, but you could also say anywhere there is a chakra, there is a nerve plexus. So there is a physiological component in that particular area. Yeah. Good, okay, any questions so far? Does everybody get the sort of basic premise of what I'm talking about here? Your body has an electrical system. Every time that you have some kind of trauma or injury or accident, that gets recorded in your electrical system. In fact, what I've found, now we've been told that our memories are in our brain, right? Just like your memories are in your brain, your state of consciousness is in your brain. Well, if you think about it, every single thing that you see, that you smell, that you taste, that you think, that you feel, that you experience is translated in your body into an electrical signal. So therefore, it makes sense that all of your memories are stored in your body's electrical system. And this shows up in the magnetic field around your body, where we find memories. So in addition, with a map that I showed you, with different areas relating to different states of mind, there's also, this is all memory storage. So if you're working with somebody who had an injury at a specific age, you can find exactly where that memory is in their field with the tuning forks. The tuning forks, as we move them through the person's biofield, you're going to get to feel this. When you hit an area that holds the record of a traumatic memory, the tuning fork will vibrate differently. So basically, as we go through our days, our weeks, our months, we are continually having inner experiences of feeling. And that information is being laid down, kind of like an EKG. You know how it shows like what the heartbeat is doing? This information, as we feel it, as we experience it, is continually being laid down in standing waves in our body's magnetic field. And it moves away from us. So the person in that map is 60 years old. We will find memories that were generated when they were 30, about 3 feet away from their body. The field extends about 6 feet out. And so you can actually learn how to read somebody's memory banks by going through this process. It's sort of like dropping a needle on an album. When you come to the outside of the field, the very outer boundary of the field contains information from gestation, from birth, and then it's like reading the record of their life. And you can find every place where a person had a big trauma, had a difficult input. And then simply by holding the tuning forks in that area, which you will feel, because it's not subtle, it helps the body to become self-aware of the tension that it's holding from that old trauma, and the body will relax. The body will relax. So a lot of people end up with sore areas, and maybe they had an injury when they were young, and then they get older, and it starts to hurt again. And you can literally go back and find the input of that old injury in the magnetic field and get it to relax. Sometimes this can be extremely dramatic for getting people out of pain. I've had many people come to my treatment table in pain, sometimes at a 9 or a 10 on the pain scale. And I've been able to take them down out of it to a 1 or a 0 in 15 or 20 minutes. And this is it's very dramatic what we're doing here and how it can help people. It doesn't seem like much until you start digging in, and then you start to understand that the amount of relief that you can bring to the people that you work with through this approach. So what I want to do, I just want to show you a few things. This is a book that I wrote. This book is based on a master's thesis. I went to college as an adult as I was trying to figure out the science behind what I was encountering in my program. And so this is based on a master's thesis. It's got a lot of scholastic and academic references in it. I brought 2 copies for your library so that these can be here and people can read them and learn all about how it works before we begin class. This is also, I brought 3 copies of our manual. So this is a training manual that when you enroll in class, you get a copy of this. And it goes through in detail how to do the process. The process is very simple. It's very simple. It's very easy to learn. And obviously, like with anything, there are nuances that take time, but pretty much anybody can pick up a fork and start helping other people to relax pretty quickly. So these are going to be available here for you as resources. Okay, well, what I think I want to do is do a demonstration so that you can see how it works. I'm going to do it in a chair. So who's got pain right now? Maybe in a shoulder, tight neck. Yes, guy in the shirt. Come on over. What's your name? Elvis? Oh, all right, nice to meet you, Elvis.
I know last night gym program still so
All right, let me see if I can Okay, so you got it? All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate just a really simple adjustment. Now this is a process of using the tuning forks both on the body and in the field around the body. So we're going to do them both at the same time. So tell me about what you got going on here. Yep, I feel that. It's very tight. Did you injure it? No. Do you feel like you have a tendency to say yes when you mean no, to put other people's needs ahead of your own, to overextend yourself? Okay, so that's the habit of the right shoulder. Pretty much everybody that I've ever treated who ends up with a right shoulder issue is saying yes when they mean no, they're accommodating, they're overextending themselves, and then going mentally and emotionally out of balance, and then the body follows. And this map that you have, guys, is surprisingly accurate. And this is something that's really thousands of students have worked with and really found that it's helpful. Okay, so I have two tuning forks here. They're slightly different frequencies. This one is 54.81 hertz, and this one is 62.64 hertz. Okay, so just like your body has an electrical system, so does the earth. And most of us don't learn about that. In fact, this whole atmosphere that we're breathing in electricity. And because the earth has an electrical system, that system has a pulse that's always going on in the background. And that pulse is around 7.83 hertz. That means cycles per second, okay? This is what your brain, your pineal gland, picks that up, and that's how all of your body's rhythms are, like if you go up into space or down into the ground, you lose your sense of rhythm and time because you're no longer getting this frequency, okay? So what this fork does is it creates something very cool called a binaural beat. And it creates a binaural beat of 7.83 hertz. So when I'm going to hold this on either side of, what's your name? Elvis. How can I forget that? I'm going to hold this on either side of Elvis's head. And I'm going to start to take his brain waves from maybe a more elevated state down into the vibe of the earth, basically. And what do you think that's going to do? Anybody want to guess? What's going to make him do? Relax. It's going to make him relax, right? This is what we want to be doing here, is getting people to relax. So I'm just going to hang out here for a moment.
We need to relax him first. It's time to.
Right. Everybody needs to relax. So I'm just going to do this a few times. Now, usually our brain waves are somewhere around 14 hertz or so. It's called the beta brainwave state when we're thinking about everything we got to do and we're busy and we're running around. And so why do we meditate, right? We meditate because we want to quiet the mind. And that's not always easy to do. But when people come in and they lie down on their treatment table, you can pull out these two forks and just hold. See, now he's already starting to relax. I can feel it. It just started. So I'm just going to do it a little bit more. What are you noticing, Elvis? You're feeling calm. Yeah, right? This is what we want. Like, this is where the optimal performance of anything happens when we're feeling calm. When we're feeling calm. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to use the weighted forks on his body. And so you guys are all going to get forks in your hands. I'm going to tell you right now that when you go to place them on somebody else, there's always a tendency to just place them, all right? That's not what you want to do. You want to lean in with your body weight and you want to grab. So how does that feel compared to, like, let me do it again. So this is just placing them. And then this is leaning in and grabbing. What's the difference for you? What feels better? Yeah, you feel more vibration. You feel more vibration and the vibration penetrates more. And I will tell you that the pressure that you use is about 3 times what you think it is, okay? So you're really gonna, especially on traps, because they can really take some grabbing and some pressure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run sound into different areas of the shoulder. Yeah, which is all around. Not necessarily any specific points, but just sort of trusting and following my feeling sense. And everybody breathes. So an important part of this, there you go. A very important part of this is that when we're tense, we don't breathe enough. So this is a whole process of getting people to relax and to breathe. And that means you, as the provider, also have to be breathing. Yeah, very important. It's cumulative. So the more that you receive the work, the more relaxed you stay. So his question was, how long do you stay relaxed for? You stay relaxed until the next stressor comes along to make you tense, right? Because that's the way life is. It's like, yeah, you can relax and then something happens and then you get tense again. And so this is really a process of training the body and the mind to stay relaxed, even when under pressure, when under stress, when somebody has just thrown you a curveball, that you're able to breathe and stay relaxed. Because that's the best way to handle stuff. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate how we use it in the field. So we're going to go that way. Now, the field extends about 6 feet away from most people. And it has a very defined edge or boundary, like a bubble does, right? So whenever you hit a place that has more energy, the fork will vibrate more in your hands. It's really wild. But there's, you guys, Jamaicans totally get the vibe thing, right? I mean, you can tell when you're getting a good vibe from somebody, right? It's really obvious. You can tell when you're getting a bad vibe from somebody, like no bad vibes, right? We don't want to feel that. So you're already accustomed to feeling vibes and trusting your own sense of knowing about whether a vibe is good or bad. Right? Everybody agree with that? All right. So as we move in towards the body, you're going to feel it's a train. Okay. So as you can see on that handout, this is a defined field. The outer boundary has more energy, just like I'm just going to hand these around. Is anybody curious about manual muscle at right now? And then just pass it along. Anybody else? Okay, we're good. Okay, so this outer boundary has more energy. Just like the skin of a fruit has more nutrition in it than the rest of the fruit. Right? It has more energy. So the outer boundary of the field has more energy. So when you come in, what you're that there's more vibration right here. So once you find the edge of the field, then you just pause and stay there and just kind of feel it. You connect to it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start moving in towards the body. And the way that you do this, and this is very important, is that you move slowly, like moving in a slow bounce. Okay? So I just want you to, Elvis, feel what it feels like versus if I'm coming towards you like this. Versus if I come at you like a plow. But you guys don't have plows here, do you? It doesn't snow. Right? So there's that feeling or this feeling. What do you notice? That feels really strong, right? So some people don't like that whoosh kind of feeling. So what you really want to do is you want to kind of ease your way slowly through this bounce towards the body. right? So in any place where you feel more vibration in your hand, that's a place of tension, both in the field, in the mind, and in the body as well. Anything that's going on in the field is going on in the body, and vice versa. So if we want to relax what's going on in the electrical system of the body, we're going to relax what's going on in the magnetic field. And that's going to inform it. Does everybody follow that? Any questions about that? We know from science that magnetic fields guide and inform electric currents. So by manipulating the magnetic field, we manipulate the way electricity is running through the body. Yeah. And so we all know that inflammation is very often the beginnings of disease or where we can get injuries. Inflammation is a place where you have too much electricity. You have a traffic jam, right? And that's why it's hot. It's because the electricity isn't flowing. It's all jammed up. Any place where you have an excess in one place, you end up with a deficiency in another, right? And then that's how people end up out of balance. So the way that we help to reduce inflammation is by relieving the traffic jam, getting everything, finding where it's jammed up in the field, and releasing that, which will release it in the body. Now, right here, I just hit a place, I'm moving along, right, and I'm feeling, I just hit a place where the vibration gets really strong. And so sometimes I might check in, be like, do you feel that anywhere in your body? So some people do. Some people will identify it right away. They'll be like, oh yeah, I feel it right here. Some people won't feel anything. Sometimes as you get closer, people feel more, okay? People don't have to feel anything to get the benefit of what we're doing. So you just keep going along until you hit a place that's more vibrating, and you just kind of hang out there. And what will happen, what you'll notice, is the tension and the excess vibration will relax. And then you'll be able to keep moving. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was asking, since the tension is on this side, would it be on this side of his body?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, I mean, you can have patterns of tension, like this might be connected to something in his left hip, for example, right? Very often we see this cross, like if there's something going on in the right shoulder, there's often something going on in the left hip. Now, on your map, remember that the right shoulder is like taking care of everybody else. The left hip is being frustrated that you're not being taken care of. So, very often they go together. If you're so busy taking care of everybody else, you're not taking care of you. Yeah. So, okay, you need to take another breath right here. In fact, everybody needs to take a breath. So I got into something, another spot right here that's really jangly, and I can feel that. And in these places, in these memories, when we're going through stress or trauma or an injury or some kind of encounter with a difficult personality, what do? We hold our breath. We tend to hold our breath. Think about it. Yeah, we get tense and hold our breath. So any of these places that you find in the field as you're working, where there's a lot going on, there's usually a breath hold as well. And that breath hold will inform you. You, when you're in an area of no breath, will hold your breath. Okay? You can use your own breath to find stuff because this is all information, right? This is the information of that experience. And when you're in a tuning fork in that memory, that information is informing you vibrationally. So it's really important that you breathe while you're working and that you get the person that you're working with to also breathe. Okay, so this is another kind of funky spot right there. I'm just going to hang out with that. You see what I'm doing? Whenever I find a spot, I stop. And I'm just kind of moving the fork sort of up and down very gently. Not a big motion like this, right? Does that feel kind of weird when I start doing that? Usually doesn't feel good to people, but a small motion like this. And you can also go back and forth. I call this sawing. So So sawing is going back and forth, and bouncing is going up and down. Now, what we want to do is we want to bring the fork all the way to the midline of the body. The midline. When we're present in the midline of the body, we're present in this moment. We're in that state of flow. Think about it. If you've got all this energy going off over here, it's not here. And then that's going to get hung up while you're doing sports. Right? Why people get injuries in certain places is because of patterns of tension. And historic patterns of tension, right? And mental patterns of tension. So we want to help to release all these patterns of tension. So I'm going to come and bring this to the midline. And are you feeling anything or noticing anything about this? Okay, some people do. Hold on. But what we're doing is we're literally just encouraging the magnetic field and the body's electrical flow to move from the inflammation that's here back into the midline, and that goes in more into circulation. Right? This is what we want to do, is get everything to circulate properly. Yeah. So I'm going to come to the front, and I'm also going to come to the back. And I'm going to breathe. It's really important to breathe. It's super important to breathe. Yeah. Good. And then I'm also going to do just a little bit more work on the body itself. So this is a combination of working in the field, going to the body, going to the field, going to the body. Do you feel how that's already softer? Yeah. So when I first started in the shoulder, it was really rock hard. Yeah. And now I can tell that it feels a lot softer. Yeah. And what does that mean? That means that he relaxed. He's releasing that tension that he was holding on to. And it's only taken a few minutes. Right? So just a little bit more in the field. Any place where there's an injury or a lot of tension, there's going to be a lot of activity there. You're going to feel that vibration. And you want to grab it. You know, it's sort of like just imagining that you can grab the vibration and literally move it. Just like a magnet might move. Yeah. There we go. Good. And then you want the vibration to feel strong over the midline. That's what. And then the next part. So this work is very simple. It's basically, we start at the edge of the field, we move to the midline of the body. Then we help strengthen it in the midline, and then we focus it away. So we're just going, whoop, whoop, and that's it. It's super simple. But even though it's super simple, it will absolutely, every single person you do this on will relax. And they'll relax by different degrees, but they will all relax. And the relaxation will last longer than a massage. Now, well, you know, when will it come back? Remember that everybody's different, right? But what are you noticing? Tell us how you feel. Yeah. You want to move your arm around. Let's describe it. You don't feel any pain. He doesn't feel any pain. Yeah. Right? So that was super easy to do. So for that, so he's got this dislocated thumb, so we're just kind of coming. You know, any place where there's injury, any place where there's out of balance, the vibration is going to help to relax it. When the body relaxes, the body heals itself. Yeah, you can feel it through, right? This is the thing, our bodies are designed to heal themselves. But if we've got a whole bunch of tension in the way, that blood, that lymph, the electricity is not going to get there. Thank you so much. All right, who wants to give it a try? Anybody want to? So what I'd like to do with you guys, because I think having the experience of it, right? Of receiving it and also giving it. And it doesn't have, it doesn't have to be complicated. Remember that the motion is very simple. You just start at the outer edge of the field, you kind of slowly move your way in, and then you go out. You do a little bit on the body. So we've got a few tables. We can get people in pairs on tables, and we can also use chairs. So just like I had him in the chair. So let's just get into it. And then if you have questions as we're going, then we will. So if you want to do the hands-on part, find a partner. Okay? If you just want to observe, find a team that is working. We can get 3 pairs over at the table, and then we can also get chairs set up. Wait, before you go, before we get into this, let me just, because I want you guys to understand this a little bit more before we work. Okay, this is going to be offered, just so you all know, as a course here next year. And it's going to be similar to your massage program. We're going to have scholarships for everybody because you're going to need tools and the training. It's a 2-part training. It's 3 days. So it's 3 days of training with teachers hands-on where you learn everything. And then you practice. You need to have a bunch of practice sessions. And then we'll be back and we'll do the second part of the training. So you will become certified in Biofield Tuning, which will give you an enormous advantage in the world, especially here in the Caribbean, especially dealing with athletes. This is an opportunity to really be involved at a high effective level with athletes here in Jamaica. So I just wanted you to understand that that's the end game here in getting everybody introduced, is that we will be back to do a training. Okay? All right, I just want to make sure you all do that. Okay, so let's get our partners. Raise your hand if you want to do this hands-on. Come on, be brave. This is fun. All right, for the people that have your hands up, find a partner. Okay. Okay, and then partner, go see Carolyn and she'll give you some support. I can't because I got to watch it. Wait, there's going to be somebody here.
Yeah, you feel it. Yeah. Yep, just keep doing that.
Okay, everybody. So those of you, you're in pairs and you've got forks. So start off, let's just get you guys activating the forks the right way. All right?
So don't hold the tines. The tines are the part that vibrates. You can hold the handle, but if you hold the tines, you're going to stop the vibration, okay? So you can activate it by bumping it against the heel of your hand, or the side of your knee, or your hip. Remember how I was doing it on my hip? So, can you try that? Ready? Or the side of the knee. And then, whoop, see, she relaxed immediately. All right, give that a try. Now, so you're activating the forks. Remember what I said about pressure. So here, activate it right there. There you go. And get it right into her trap with some pressure. That's it. Really push in. Lean with your body weight. How does that feel? Does that feel good? Okay, good. Okay, that's it. And get it right in the trap with pressure. Good. So, right in the trap with pressure. Lean in. Yeah, like that. How does that feel? Yeah, good. Yeah. So if somebody has a headache, you can come up above the head, like so, or come out from the front or the back, and that can help relieve pressure, right? Yours is more up top. And then you can also, right, she's really tight in her traps right here, so. Okay, so here you would. Okay. Let's try
Sir.
All right, guys, why aren't you using forks?
That's the string in it.
Where? Yeah, right there, that shoulder. Okay, so I'm gonna really squeeze, right? You don't be squeamish about the pressure. You can usually use a lot of pressure on people's shoulders. Yeah. So this particular area in the map, do you have things to say and emotions to express and you're not letting yourself do it? So you're holding yourself back, okay? Does that make sense? Do you have a tendency to do that? Yeah, a lot, right? And so when we don't express, when we're holding stuff back, what is that? That's tension, right? It's tension. Yeah, so you guys are really going to be noticing now every time you get tense, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm tense. So we want to help this whole tendency that you have to not express, to hold back, hold your emotions, all jammed up in this shoulder. His whole magnetic field is all jammed up in here. And so that's making his body jammed up. And so we're just going to get that energy to come. Can you feel it moving? Yeah. Right? I mean, part of it is because you actually have really strong feelings. So everybody, different people have feelings. Some are really strong, and some are kind of lower. And so people who have strong feelings, like our friend right here, will very often repress them because you grow up and your parents are like, I don't want to see it, I don't want to hear it, go to your room, right? Or people just don't want to deal with you when you're emotional. So you just hold it in. Yeah. No, not so much, but you'd be surprised what people hold back, right? Especially emotions. Like, he's got a lot of love. And sometimes part of what he's holding back is his love and affection. Does that make sense? Am I right? Yeah. Exactly right. It isn't even like, oh, I'm angry. It's more like I have all this love and I just want to express that, but I'm not doing it.
We're doing further promoting this. We're going to do an interview with you at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So you can further explain to them, what this is all about.
Okay, great. I can do that.
Right, so I knew they were coming, but I also seek the opportunity. If they're going to be here, we're going to also use it as another platform.
All right. Why not? All right, these guys are doing great.
Yeah, because I have patella tendonitis, so like.
Totally. Yeah, you can do it anywhere. I just had to do it on the shoulders because that's the easiest place to start, right? But if you want to do it on the knee, it's the same thing. So you would do it, oh, let me get a pair here. So you could come in on either side of the knee. And this is just an extender that makes the handle bigger. You can work on the hips, you can work on the back. I mean, there's so many cool things that you can do with this. There's all kinds of neat techniques that you learn. Like we're just doing like the most basic stuff today. But then I would, same thing, you move your way through the field until you hit a sticky spot, like right there. Do you want to do it? Come on over here. Feel where it gets really vibraty there. Yeah. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, good. Then you should get my book out of the library before anybody else does. So when we get to this point, right, you just want to kind of, it's this idea that we just want to focus that energy so it moves. So I'll do like 4 or so. Yeah, exactly. Right? So your heart, like so you can also, you know how doctors use stethoscopes, right, to listen to the lungs. So with these, you can also use it almost like a stethoscope. Yeah, and okay, that's right. I thought you looked familiar. What's your name? That's right. I thought you looked familiar. Yeah, and it really made a big difference, didn't it? Like it felt better, right? So people's heart rhythms say a lot about their health and their well-being. And when people have been under a lot of stress, their heart rhythm becomes very like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy is the saying. And so you can help, yeah, you can help lively people up, right? Because you've got that, but you don't feel like you have that same tendency anymore. Right? So you can help lively people up. So your heart already has more energy in it than when we started. Can you feel that? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, like just more energy, more space, more movement. Yeah, that's right. But as long as you remember to breathe all the time, as long as you keep breathing and grounding, then you'll be less affected. But it does take a little while to get used to the work so that you don't get wiped out by it. Like, you know, like anything. Even massage can tire you out, you know? So, but the more that you stay breathing and grounding, the more neutral you'll stay. Yeah. All right, keep working. How are we doing, ladies? Did you get to feel it in the field? Oh, yeah. You can feel it? Yeah, good. Yeah, there we go. He wants to be Hold on, hang tight for just a couple minutes, guys. We're gonna wrap up.
Okay, I know, attention here. So, part of promoting what we're doing, of course, everyone would have had the chance to interact with one or two of the tuning forks. Certainly, you would have had different experiences in terms of what happened with your plant that you were working with. I'm sure also because you have been asking me questions pertaining to the course that's going to come up, reactions to the body, what are some of the other ways that you can use it. I would love for you, because we have the person, the specialist here, that can give you more comprehensive responses as it relates to that. So I would love for you to forward those questions to her, because further promoting what we're doing, we're going to segue to Sun City so they can also understand what Elvis teaching hospital is trying to do, along with this new venture and the opportunities that the current students and students will have as part of their skill set, which certainly would make you a lot more prepared for the working world. So just identify yourself. I think the room is small enough for you to ask your question without a mic. So we'd like to open the floor for that.
Okay, so we've had the opportunity to play, right? So in the process of that, did anybody have any questions come up regarding logistics or? Okay, guys, so this is a really good question. Seriously, I want to talk to this in the mic. That's a really good question. I've come to the conclusion that what we're calling the biofield, what we're calling the body's electrical system, this is your life body. I would call it your soul. I would call it the same thing. That this is your animating spirit. That when you are alive, your light is on. When you die, your light goes out. That is your electrical system. That is your biofield. This is the drop of God in you. This is your inner light. Historically, when people have become aware of their own inner light, you might think that you're Jesus Christ. Right? Like when you experience inner illumination, we've only had a religious framework to put that in. Your biofield, your electrical system is your light body. It is your spirit. It is your soul. Music moves our soul. We feel music move our electrical system. Sound moves your soul. We are using sound to literally move people. We already know that music does that. I remember working on somebody one day, and at the end of the session, she said, I feel like you just rearranged my soul. When our soul is heavy, when our soul is troubled, this is our electrical system. This is our light. There is no separation between science and spirituality. There's just language that we use to describe things. So, is this a spiritual practice? It can be. Because the more you settle down someone's soul, the easier it is for them to connect to God and to connect to nature and to feel the world around them, to have a more rich inner life. So I think does that answer your question? And it's kind of a radical thought. But, modern medicine and modern, certainly American education tells us we have no soul. And I completely disagree. You have an electrical system, that is the part of you that is alive. That is the part of you that is uniquely you. And that is what we're working on. Yeah, good question. Okay, any other questions? Any? So she's inquiring about the cost of the tool. So one of the things, as part of us coming here and working with you guys, in the States, these tools are expensive. I make the best quality tuning forks you can get. You can go on Amazon and buy cheap tuning forks. These are very, very high quality, very well made, to my specifications, and I'm super picky.
So part of us working with you guys is getting scholarships for you to help you to afford the tools and the training. So I don't know yet, what your cost is going to be, but we are going to work to find something that helps close the gap to make this training accessible to you. Yeah. Good. Okay, any other questions? How does it feel? Did everybody get a chance to feel in the field? And it's pretty weird, isn't it? Like you're going along and all of a sudden, like you feel it vibrating more. Did pretty much everybody who got worked on relax? Like, did you notice that you feel more relaxed? Like, I can tell just from when we started to now that everybody's more present, more grounded, and a little more relaxed, a little more focused, a little less distracted. Right? So just a little bit of chaos, because nobody really knows what we're doing, and yet, even in the chaos of not having a clue, you all figured it out and you all relaxed. So in a 3-day class, you watch videos beforehand, you got instructors who are helping you. You're going to learn a ton, and you're going to relax a ton, and you're going to get inspired a ton about how you can use this to help your friends and family. Because I'm pretty sure all of you have friends and family that need to relax, right?
When it comes down to the course, how long is it? A year or just 3 days?
So the question is about the course, how long is it? So because this is so easy, because really all it is zoom, zoom. We don't need to spend a whole year on it. So it's a 3-day class, and you're going to get instructional videos that kind of break down everything. So you watch videos before class, do the 3-day class, and then practice. Then you have to do documented practice sessions, but just 20, like not a ton. And then we'll come back and we'll teach the second part of it. And after the second part, you just do a little bit of homework, and then you get your certificate. So it's about, the classes are about 36 hours for each module. So it's not a ton of training. I went through massage school myself years ago, hours and hours and hours and hours of it at big cost. Because this method is so simple, you don't need to spend a ton of time training. And you can get a certificate with relative ease. Yeah. And you learn all kinds of stuff. All we worked with today was the weighted works that you can't hear. But we also have unweighted works. Is there a hockey puck around? And this is actually the bulk of the work. It's moving these works that you can hear through the field. And so just like you felt in your fingertips where there was a wonky spot, here with these, you can hear it and you can feel it. And the tone will change. Right now, I can't have you all in here working with these forks because it would be too crazy and it'd be too noisy. I just wanted you to feel that vibrational information that you can feel with the weighted works. But when we get into listening as well, and you can hear like where there's a place where there's an injury, the tone will really sharp. Wherever there was somebody had sharp pain. I worked on somebody recently who I was reading his record, and we got into this place where all of a sudden the forks are making the lumpiest sound. It was so distorted and so crazy. And he said to me, "Wow," he said, "what's that?" And so I plotted it on the map, and this guy was like 55, and I looked at where it was on the map, and I said, "This is something that happened when you were 18. This map is so useful." And he said to me, "That's when I went through the windshield of a car." Okay, so you think about that experience of going through the windshield of a car and how chaotic that's going to be in your system and the aftermath of that, right? And that was all in the record. And so while I stayed in that spot, reflecting that sound back to his body used that input to do what? To relax, to release. He was still holding a twist in his body 20, 30 years later from that accident. And as I went out in that spot, that twist started to relax and release. emotion has a particular sound that it makes. Every experience that anybody's ever had has a specific sound that it makes. And you learn this language in time. And it's like a magic trick, almost. Like you can tell when you hit an area where there's alarm, where there's depression. Does anybody have any friends or loved ones who are depressed? Right? So when you use this fork in the field of somebody who's depressed, it's a very specific area off the left shoulder where the tone of depression lives. And it sounds like, that's how you feel when you're depressed. That tone is running through the music inside of you. You are a self-tuning instrument that wants to be in harmony. You're designed to be in harmony. And so when you find that area in somebody and you hear that tone of depression, you just hang out there. The body hears it and goes, wow, I sound flat over here. And the body is going to start to adjust and relax so that it hears itself more in harmony. And what that ends up happening is that the person doesn't feel depressed afterwards. I've been able to take people who have pretty strong anxiety and get rid of it in 3 sessions. People who have depression and get rid of it in 3 sessions. This is very powerful on the emotional level, the mental level, the physical level for helping people to feel better. And I will tell you that nothing feels better to me, and I think you probably also feel the same, than helping other people to feel better. At the end of the day, if you help get people out of pain, you help get people out of anxiety, out of depression, you open up people to their skills, to their power, you feel really good at the end of the day when you help people in that way. And everybody needs this kind of help. And we haven't had this ability to treat people's souls, people's spirits, people's inner music, right? Massage doesn't get into that. It can, and it's great to do together. But this is a real way to really uplift people and help them feel optimal. And that's what we want. Good. All right. Any other questions?
I just wanted to add that they were asking about the different types of fork. For example, Elvis, just hold up that fork, that's the weighted fork. That's the unweighted, and are there any others? They just want to identify.
So there's different frequencies of the unweighted ones. There's lower ones and higher ones, right? That sounds a little sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't always sound that way. I mean, they sound different depending on the information that they're encountering. So there's another one, an unweighted one. This is my favorite one. It's very low. Yeah. So this is, I make accessories to go on. So this is another high frequency one. This one's pretty and pleasing and very often like a nice one to end with because it just makes people feel kind of light and good, right? So in your toolkit, you will have 3 weighted forks and 3 unweighted forks and a hockey puck activator. That is the tools that you will use for the class.
What are the differences between the sonic gliders? You have several different types of sonic gliders.
So I showed you the Schumann pair at the start, right? That was the one that I was demonstrating with that weighted fork. This is the other weighted fork that is called a sonic slider, and this is also based in the Schumann resonance. But this one has a little amplifying loop on the end. And what this does is it just amplifies the vibration. In fact, I can pass it around if you want to feel it. So give it a good bump against, and then press it on your sternum, right? Doesn't that feel good? Yeah. So we'll see about getting you different accessories too. These amplifier boots, I think, are really important for working with athletes because you can really use them in pairs and really drive that vibration deep into the body.
One of the other questions they ask, for example, okay, so why are they designed that way? First, my reminder is that the Earth has its own magnetic field, and these are so skillfully designed to interact the same magnetic field as we are biological beings, we are also electromagnetic. So we have that within us. I was actually showing them the different hertz per form, and it interacts at different wavelengths.
And different frequencies will interact differently with the body. So, I might be working on somebody with a lower frequency, and we're getting somewhere, but then I come in with the higher frequency, and then this is going to interact differently. This is going to make certain places that weren't relaxing with the lower one. So that's why we have a few different ones. Now, there are schools of tuning forks out there that have dozens and dozens of forks that people use. I like to keep things simple. Simple, easy, affordable. So that's why you're just going to be using 6. And that's all you need. You can get so much done with these 6 forks. Yeah. Good.
Excellent. And then the other thing was quite a few figured it out that this actually interrelates with their prior knowledge, and therefore, based on what they would have learned before, it should help them to even be more effective. So when we talk about pressure points, releasing pressure points, the weighted fork, especially the one with this, the sort of pointy end, can help to activate those. We have, what you call it again, sir, meridian.
Meridians?
Right?
Yeah.
And all of, they would have done that, quite a few of that in their studies.
Excellent.
And with their practice, so it's an addition to their skill set that I believe will make them a lot more marketable. One of the concerns they had. So, for those who didn't know, this workshop, we were to have had it from summer?
July 7th.
Right. We didn't have it because of an accident that occurred, but I mean, God is good. We had the opportunity to have it again. I must say, the students that have graduated felt in a sense they were robbed, but it wasn't your fault. But I'm telling, because quite a few of these students will be finishing this next semester. Therefore, one of the questions they were asking if they were still able to come, I said yes. You have already explained how the course will be. It's just a few other details that would need to sort out. And by virtue of saying this, every student who would have completed the sports massage therapy program at GC Foster College has the opportunity to ensure that this become a part of your additional skill set.
Excellent. That sounds good. All right, we're good?
So, are there any other questions? No other questions? So I captured all the other questions, that you had to ask.
Okay, I always know that there's always people who don't want to ask questions, and then as soon as it ends, that I have a dozen people come up to me. So maybe we can just end officially now, since we kind of we did everything we wanted to do. But I'm not getting interviewed till 1, so I'll be here with Carolyn and Tara. And if you have any more questions, or you want to feel anything else, or you want to play with any of the other forks, if you want to come activate the unweighted ones just to see what that feels like. So we can still kind of hang out informally for a little bit. But thank you, everyone, for your time and attention. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope we see some of you in class next year.